Hello. The discussions about Jesus Christ lasted in the church for quite a long time, at least 5 centuries, from the 3rd through the 8th or maybe 9th or even further centuries. So it's really difficult to summarize those discussions in 10 minutes, but let me try. I'd boil down those discussions to the dialectical pair of oneness and plurality in God. The differentiation between oneness and plurality is familiar to us, and we apply it in different spheres of our life. So it is also applicable to God. Christianity started as a monotheistic religion and always emphasized that God is one, the oneness of God. It was very important for Christianity, and it is still important. Christianity inherited the idea of one God, monotheism, from the Jewish religion. That's why monotheism constitutes the basis of what we call Judeo-Christianity, Judeo-Christian tradition. And at that time, unlike today, at that time when Christianity emerged, monotheism, the belief in one God, constituted a minority. Only a minority believed in one God, and the majority believed in many gods. So Christianity really had to struggle to prove that God is one. That's why the oneness of God, became a very important feature of the Christian theology. At the same time, the Christian theologians understood and realized that God is not one in the same sense and as He is for the Jewish religion, because God has become incarnated, and we've seen God through Jesus Christ. So they try to resolve the issue how the oneness of God can be combined with the presence of Jesus among us. In other words, how the oneness of God is compatible with the plurality in God that the Christians believed in, because they believe in Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ is God. Also, the Holy Spirit adds to this plurality of God. Therefore, from the early centuries, speaking about God meant resolving the issue, the balance between the oneness and plurality in God. And different theological schools gave different answers to this issue. Eventually, they arrived at a synthesis that God is both one and plural, or more precisely, three. They arrived at the concept of triunity of God, that God is triune. He is one and three simultaneously. What helped them to arrive at this conclusion is the philosophical logics that they adopted, Christian theologians adopted from the pagan philosophy, particularly from Aristotle and his commentators such as Porphyry. And one of the helpful distinctions in the ancient pagan logics was the one between commonality and particularity. This distinction applies to the variety of things around us. Like, we can talk about a tree and a forest, which is a sum of trees, or the nature of trees, the common nature of trees, the treeness, as it were. The same can be said about a human being, a particular human being, John, Peter, Sarah, and so forth, and humanity, the human nature. So the Christian theologians applied this distinction between the commonality and plurality, or a particularity, to God. And they explain God as one commonality, the divine essence, and three particularities, which they called persons, or hypostasis, a Greek word meaning a particular, a concrete, a real being. So the answer to the question, to the issue of oneness and plurality, was the following. The divine oneness, God's oneness, is secured by the common nature, common essence of God. God is one essence, and that's why He is one. at the same time, God is three persons, and this constitutes this plural aspect of the divine being. It took a long time and a lot of effort to arrive at this conclusion, and this conclusion also helped to understand another difficult issue for the Christian theologians in the early centuries: how the oneness and plurality are combined in Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ features the same kind of dilemma. He is one and he is plural at the same time, and it is vital for Jesus Christ to be both one and plural. It is also vital for our salvation, why he is so. In which sense, so Jesus Christ is one, and in which sense he is plural? It also took a lot of time for the theologians to arrive at this, at answering this question. There were theologians who emphasized the plurality in Jesus Christ, like that he is a God and a man, he is divine and human. They really stress this aspect of Jesus Christ, sometimes quite extremely, as in the case of the so-called Nestorianism, which suggested that Jesus Christ is just appears to be one, but in reality he is double, and under the appearance of common appearance of Jesus Christ, there are two very different realities, autonomous realities of the divinity and humanity. This idea of plurality in Jesus Christ was rejected by the Church, by the Catholic Church, and instead the person who was behind this rejection, the Archbishop of Alexandria, Cyril, insisted that Jesus Christ is one, and he stressed the oneness of Jesus Christ, and he tried to elaborate a formula of unity. I should say a couple of words about unity. Unity is not the same as oneness. Unity is the combination, is the synthesis between the oneness and plurality. Together, the oneness and plurality constitute unity. So Cyril of Alexandria elaborated on the formula of unity in Jesus Christ and suggested a formula which was accepted by the Church. He stressed the unity in Jesus Christ. Some of his followers overstressed this unity and reached some kind of marginal ideas, like in the case of a Constantinopolitan monk, Eutyches, who suggested that the humanity of Jesus Christ became a divinity, was absorbed to divinity, and actually turned to divinity. He thus diminished the plurality in Jesus Christ to a very dangerous, minimalistic degree, and overstressed the oneness in Jesus Christ. So his formula of unity was false, and it was discussed at the Council of Chalcedon, which happened in 451, and it was a crucial council which arrived at an acceptable formula of Christ's unity, which combines in good proportions, healthy proportions, the oneness and plurality in Jesus Christ. This formula states that Jesus Christ is one in the sense that he is one person, and he is plural in the sense that he consists of the divine and human natures. The Council of Chalcedon thus employed the same distinction between, remember, commonality and particularity, which was employed by the fathers of the Church earlier when they answered the question how God is one and plural simultaneously. Remember, that answer was that God is one in the sense of one essence, common essence, and he is plural in the sense of three particular persons. So the fathers later on in the 5th century reversed this logic, and they said that Jesus Christ is one as a particular being. The particularity of Jesus is singular. That's why he's one hypostasis. However, his commonalities, which are divine and human, they constitute the plurality in Jesus Christ, and they come together, they're combined in the one being of Jesus Christ. That's why, well, the commonality and particularity, these categories, became helpful to answering the question how Jesus Christ can be one and plural simultaneous. He is one in the sense of particularity as a particular human being, divine human being, and he is plural in the sense of being divine and being human and sharing divinity with his Father and sharing humanity with us. So that is basically the formula of a unity in Jesus Christ, that it took a long time for the church to arrive at this formula, and we take it for granted. Nevertheless, it's helpful to understand this formula and helpful to look at Jesus from this perspective.